Now, before we proceed to talk about this scumbag in the gameplay in the background, I just want to tell you a little story. It's a little bit weird and a little bit random, but it's absolutely 110% true. And I haven't told many people about this in my life because you'll understand why when I tell you. But I've only ever seen what I can assume is one ghost in my life. And the story goes that I was lying in bed one night. I was about 18, 19, 20, and I was lying in bed one night, and in my dream, you know, you hear these noises and they get kind of blended into your dream. I could hear this sort of chainsaw noise. Now, I was sort of, my dream suddenly turned into my next door neighbour who was a pain in the arse cutting his hedge. So as I woke up, I could hear this noise as I was sort of slumbering into my, awoken state. And I automatically thought, as I looked round and I could see it was still very dark, what the hell is the neighbour doing cutting the hedge at this time of night? So I got up out of bed, rubbed my eyes, and the noise kind of got quieter and faded away, but still I could hear it very much. And it sounded almost like a buzzing, like a huge bumblebee at this point. So of course I went to the window, I looked out the window, no neighbour, no hedge cutting, no chainsaw, but it sounded as though the noise was coming from my wardrobe. So I walked over to the wardrobe, quite scared because I thought I was going to bump into a helicopter-sized bumblebee. And as I opened the wardrobe very quickly, I can see what I can only explain to be a football-sized sprout with eyes and a nose and a mouth floating around in amongst my clothes and then sort of disappeared into the back. Now, maybe I was high, maybe I was half asleep, maybe I was hallucinating, I don't know, but this is 100% true. I shit my pants and proceeded to flat-foot the life out of my clothes, standing backwards, holding onto the wardrobe doors, kicking the hell out of this invisible entity that I assumed that I saw, whilst almost screaming because it frightened the bejesus out of me. Now, it was at this point that my father got woken up, and he wasn't the best man to wake up in the morning. He was never very much a morning person, so, waking him up in the middle of the night was never the best idea. Now, to his horror, when he clicked on the lights to my room and he could see his 19-year-old son, stark bollock naked, flat-footing my clothes, with the last chicken in the shop swinging around between my legs, he lost his nuts and went absolutely ballistic at me. I then had to stand there and explain to him about aforementioned floating sprout head that I thought I saw in my wardrobe. Yeah, it didn't really go down very well, and he automatically assumed that I'd moved on to harder drugs and I was now experimenting with heroin and, I don't know, drinking methylated spirits, who knows. But yeah, funny thing about that was I went to college the next day and I used to be in a band. I was the lead singer and a guitarist in a band, and we were struggling for a name, and I decided to tell these guys at college about this funny story, and they were all laughing, and one of them turned around and he said, "There we go, I've got the name for our band. Let's call ourselves Chainsaw Sprout." And the name stuck, and that was what we became. What a shame we never got famous. I would have loved to have told that story on MTV. But anyway, rambling aside, let's move on to the subject at hand. This guy in the background was not a ghost. In fact, it was something I've never come across before on Xbox Live. I've come across the unlimited Nova Gas hack and the mortar hack and mod or whatever. Sorry, I might have got that wrong again. But yeah, I've come across that a few times, and it's annoying and it's frustrating, but you can quite easily back out and it can be dealt with in that way. However, this was, totally different. This is Xbox Live. I've never seen an invisible hacker / modder, whatever he is. In however many years, 4 or 5 years since this game's been out, I've never come across one before. Now, the reason I wanted to put this up there is because this guy was an obnoxious twat. You will see as the commentary's going on, but you won't really hear what he's saying in the background, that he was kind of goading everybody in the play lobby. People were calling him out and he was basically just saying, what are you going to do about it? There is absolutely nothing you can do, you're getting wrecked, I'm not hacking. But he was clearly invisible. I'd come across him so many times and I didn't see him. I could see the name, like the Modern Warfare 3 name that shows up, and then these invisible guys stab you. But the worst part about it is he was trying so hard, and at one point I was actually beating him at a free-for-all. But unfortunately, you can't quite beat somebody who you can't see. It's like trying to beat the Predator to death when he's in full stealth mode by using a table tennis paddle. It's not going to happen. So all I'm going to say, guys, is his name is That Hacker O, very original. Go onto Xbox Live and report him like I did. It's as simple as that. We don't need these people here. And if it wasn't for the sheer obnoxiousness of his goading in the lobby, I probably wouldn't be doing this video. So fuck him. Thanks for watching, guys. Apocalypse done.
Hate on me cause your face is flustered. Now I gotta got another episode for Booster Busters. Got me in full swing, but I ain't talking back. Record you raging now. Now let me upload that. Try hard's always raging, then they get to fussing. They always rage quit, and then they start cussing. I'm trolling online, but I ain't saying nothing, cause if I'm in your game, then I'm Booster Busting.